What is up, Gorilla Nation? It is Relentless here, bringing you yet another Division 2 video. If you happen to be new to the channel, or you're just enjoying the content, then please be sure to ground and pound that like and subscribe button. Also, reach up there, trigger the bell, and turn on post notifications, so that way you never miss a live stream or a video that is uploaded. Well, as you have noticed by the thumbnail, we are looking at the most commonly used build when it accompanies the things like the Merciless with Spark, and utilizing the Merciless for its holstered talent. And then in a lot of comment sections on builds and whatnot, when one is utilizing this type of format, when it comes to having the Merciless as your secondary, utilizing that holstered talent while holstered, landing a shot has a 5% chance to deal 100% damage as explosive damage. Now, utilizing this combination, is it really worth it trying to figure out a way to add destructive? And if you don't know what destructive is, destructive adds 40% explosive damage. So you'll see a lot of these combinations even with crit chance, crit damage builds, and they'll be running either an AR, SMG with the Merciless, and you'll see a lot of times they'll have Spark, but instead of hardened or vital, they'll actually go with destructive, or they'll throw destructive, somewhere on their mask or anywhere they can really get it. And really, that's the two most viable ways, in my opinion, is either somewhere on your chest piece, your backpack, or mask. But is it really actually worth all the fuss and all the reconfiguring that you would have to do just to incorporate destructive? Because keep in mind, if you do use destructive on your backpack or chest, then you are missing out on utilizing the likes of Harden, which gives you additional armor, or Vital, and which gives you additional health, depending on if you're running an armor build or a health build. But let's get down to the nitty gritty, and let's see if what kind of benefit let's come up with a definitive answer. If it's actually worth all the configuration and the reconfiguring of your build in order to incorporate destructive. So as you can see, I do have destructive on for a base guideline with a 5% chance of it proccing Spark, and of course in order to proc Spark, it gives that explosive round from the Merciless, which that one bullet which hits your target that causes that explosive damage, then for that one bullet, destructive is going to give you 40% explosive damage. And keep in mind, and I'll reiterate, for that one bullet. And now this chest piece has no offensive mod slot. It only has the 6.5% weapon damage, and the chest piece I'll be switching out to has the same 6.5% weapon damage, but no destructive. It only has a defensive mod slot, so that way the weapon damage stays absolutely the same, and the only thing that's changing is the likes of having destructive versus taking destructive away. So let's get the base. Now the overall damage with Spark, just proccing Spark, 47,922, and then just with Spark talent is 36,783. So now let's switch over, and I'll show you without destructive, and then we'll compare the numbers and values. Alright, so now we have changed out the chest piece. Still has the same 6.5% weapon damage. No mod in it whatsoever. The base of the RPK is 29.8, the exact same amount that it was with the previous chest piece. So the only difference and the only change as far as damage wise, because our base stays the same, once we have Spark procced, that damage stays the same. So the only thing is going to change is that bullet that actually starts it off, right? So that same amount of damage that will cycle around through, and whenever Spark procs, you'll see the number. That was just a crit. Alright, 42,787. So the initial bullet that hit the target, which gave me that explosive damage from the holster talent of the Merciless, that 100% damage that's dealt as explosive damage, came up to 42,787. Now compare that to the other number, in which we got 47,921. Not that much difference. So for one bullet, that one bullet that starts this whole chain reaction that causes the explosion damage from the the holster talent of the Merciless, you're automatically going to be hitting that 42,000. So is it really viable to sacrifice something like either hardened on your chest piece, or hardened on your backpack, or vital on either your chest piece or your backpack? I mean, one could make the argument that depending on your build, whether it be armor or health build, and also depending on the armor and health rolls that you have on those pieces, 10% additional armor or 25% health can really actually come in handy and benefit you more than just a mere 5,000 extra in damage that you're going to get for one bullet. But with the Fenris, you can have the likes of 2 talents, so you could possibly go there, but then you're going to lose some offensive mod slots like you get along the lines of Wyvernware, and then that True Patriot holster, and then even Overlord that has an offensive mod slot. So you're not getting really that much value if you end up having to reconfigure everything and try to stick it in your knee pads. Now the mask is another, of course, a good argument, because with these other masks, like if you're going a health build, then you won't run one piece more Murakami anyways, and instead of hard hitting, you could put the likes of destructive on this mask right here. But if you have no hazard protection, then you might not be able to, especially if you're running like the Hollow Man mask. So if you're running like the Hollow Man mask, then it becomes like, what do you value more, the hazard protection or the likes of getting 5k more damage on one bullet? See, there's an argument to be made there. Now you could use stop, drop, and roll to help combat these status effects. But one could say, well, if you have a Murakami mask, you can still have the destructive on it, and then you can put hazard protection as a roll. Good point. But then also you'll probably be missing out on a health value, because if you're on a clutch berserk build, then you're still limited by 4 or less. So if you're not limited by the likes of a clutch build, then you could have health on here, skill power, and hazard protection, or any combination of that along with destructive. But once again, if you have the pieces and have the time to farm for them to get those right perfect pieces, then most likely destructive on your mask would be the actual go-to location. But still, the argument remains, is that one bullet doing 5k more damage actually worth it when you could use the things like insulated or empowered or things of this nature, which would benefit you more, instead of just one bullet getting 5,000 more in damage. And yes, like I stated before, you could put it on your chest piece, but then that comes into question if you're looking for health and you don't have vital on your backpack, and you want to farm for something that you can put destructive on it, and then have the likes of a Fenris chest piece that can have 2 talents, but then you're going to miss out on some other things. So it's a give and take. So destructive is still probably best, in my opinion, if you're going to try to use it on your mask. But also, on the flip side of the coin, personally, in my opinion, to get that additional 5,000k damage for that one single iota bullet, I think I can find better ways and means to utilize that talent slot. But now if I'm more or less running a hybrid build, for instance, and utilizing some kind of like seekers or something that utilizes a lot of explosions, then destructive becomes more valuable to you in your build. But unless you're running skills that causes explosions, or grenade build, things of that nature, then you're not really going to benefit from destructive all that much, just utilizing that holster talent from the Merciless. Now if you put together a rifle build and then destructive, it would make the Merciless a lot better, because it is utilizing it for what it is, along with that holster talent and destructive. But utilizing it as a holster talent as a secondary, you do take out a lot of options, and still it comes back to the case in point. Personally, in my opinion, I don't think it makes that much sense, and it's not really as viable as other things. You're seeing a lot of builds and people commenting, well, put destructive on there and it'll be a lot better. Well, it is, but not a lot better. but just for one bullet better. And really, does that one bullet make a difference? I don't think it's worth it, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, I just got deltaed by the division. So we'll see you guys fudging later.